Only thing that I knew was I would want to put my commitment to the job that I'm doing, whatever the time. Just being a woman, but being a woman who has pursued the targets and then the goals with a lot of discipline. And that is something that you need to remember as well. And you do not need to have any parents or relations who are in the tourism industry. Most of my local competitors are made by myself. Because why? My competitors have all my ex-staff. Mostly the challenges that I face, maybe 75% as a country and only 25% as a company. Tourism industry, this is just understand this and learn this. It is such a vibrant and a beautiful industry to be.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Talk2Experts episode number 2. In our last episode, we got the opportunity to talk with one of the great experts in hospitality industry in Sri Lanka. Today, we got the opportunity to talk with an expert in the luxury travel industry. Please meet Ms. Gayangi Wirasinha, Managing Director in Abercrombie & Kent, Sri Lanka. Welcome, ma'am.
Welcome, Ivan.
So first of all, let me start a question like this. So we know that you have been working in the travel industry for a long period of time. So could you please tell us about your journey so far and the achievements you have achieved?
Yeah, I guess considerably I don't think it's too long. It's only 22 years, but probably it's a lifetime for you, probably from university students type. So when I entered the tourism industry, I actually didn't understand that there was a tourism degree or tourism as a career. So what happened was I came into tourism industry 22 years ago. And then only thing that I knew was I would want to put my commitment to the job that I'm doing, whatever the time. So I was committed to the job that was undertaken in tourism, and that's how I started. So talking about commitment in a very nutshell, because this is not the forum to talk at the end. In a nutshell, talking about commitment, if I say an example, like you guys, when you have done the university for years and then when it comes to the convocation, that is one of your most precious moments for you to be in. But during my convocation, on the day of my convocation, I had to choose a business event, business journey, or to attend the convocation. So when I spoke to my boss, I would really love to go to this convocation as a young girl to do this. The advice that he gave me was, already a winner in that convocation. You've already done your job. But this is the time you've started your career, so have your commitment to fulfill your career. So that was a very powerful message to me. And then actually, I never went to my convocation. It was only a picture that I have right now. So that is the starting of the career. And thereafter, what happens was when I joined the industry at that time, 2 decades ago, women in tourism was not a major understanding unless otherwise if you own a company. So there were a lot of discouragements that can you be doing something well, something good in the tourism industry, or can you reach a higher position in tourism industry? Or will you be able to run a business in tourism industry was the question. So for those kind of things, my answer was, okay, I couldn't be very emotional about it as an Asian or a Sri Lankan woman. But I am telling you, as much as you are young right now. I was young at that time, but I had the determination and the commitment and the discipline to show people, not with emotions, what I wanted to do, but with actual results. So that actually took me one step ahead. Then what happens, I'm just saying some key positions and key moments that I've had in my life, but there are zillions, but I'm just kidding. What may be important to you in your levels at university pass outs. So the second thing was there is an association, the only inbound recognized association in Sri Lanka for tourism is SLITO. So after about a couple of years of my tourism industry, I was the only one who was selected to the SLITO committee, executive committee. And at that time, when I say only one, only lady who was an employee in the committee and didn't own a company. So the other two ladies were Mrs. Charithma Kooray, who owns Jetfins, and Mrs. Bobby Jordan Hansen, who owns Columbus Tours. And by that time, they had already finished about 30-40 years of tourism. So I was the only lady at that time. So then that was 2011. So that was again marking my position, not by just being a woman, but being a woman who has pursued the targets and then the goals with a lot of discipline. And that is something that you need to remember as well. And you do not need to have any parents or relations who are in the tourism industry or your uncles and aunts who have run businesses to come into the tourism industry. You need to have your talent, and you need to have your passion, and you need to have your commitment to that. And you will be able to do that. Again, going forward, I guess what happened was, after 7 years of my tourism industry, I was put to the board of directors at the company that I was working for, United Holidays. And 3 years later, I was made the managing director of a global conglomerate, which is Abercrombie & Kent. That time, there were 30 countries that Abercrombie & Kent was operating. Only one had a woman managing director. And then I was the second one. The one who was there had worked for Abercrombie & Kent by that time, 35 years. And then I was the youngest one at that time. So there was a lot of pressure, not only from Sri Lanka, as I said earlier, from the world of tourism built in. Or from Asia, a woman doesn't have so much of gray hair, doesn't have gray hair at all. Can this woman run a company? Like one of the pioneering tourism company like Abercrombie & Kent, pioneering luxury tourism companies. Abercrombie & Kent is perceived to be a pioneering luxury tourism companies. So there was a lot of pressure for me at that time. How that was perceived was, I just simply asked, what is my target and what is my timeline to achieve that? So they gave me a 3-year target, which I finished in 2 years, with a 210% growth at that time. And then people started to respect, irrespective of your gender or your age. So this is global recognition at that time. So this is what you could also understand, even how young or old you can be. You only can gain your respect and recognition through actual work that you do, not by just being emotional about yourself. And various other things. There are a lot of things that I could say so as landmark moments, but I would say there are some other thing that I would like you to understand is there's competition. Everywhere there is competition. But I'm really happy to, in one way, to understand most of my local competitors are made by myself. Because why? My competitors have all my ex-staff. So I know their strengths and weaknesses, and I know very dearly of them because they were once very close to my heart, and we still have a very close relationship there. So the reason was, in Sri Lanka, during that time, if we could take 10 years ago, there was luxury tourism was only just a word. But here, we taught internationally what luxury tourism is, and then we grew them from scratch, from nothing to something. And then, so I feel a competitor taking a staff off could be only a poor would steal from the rich, right? So I feel so rich here in this case. So, and then finally, what I can say is, you need to show your talents only by results, not by attempts. You can't say, I tried and I tried and I tried very much. If you're trying, didn't give you a particular result, you should consider yourself you didn't succeed. So if you have a result, you should consider you have done something. So if for you to do something, number one, you have to have commitment and you have to have discipline. And then number three, you have to update yourself about the world and the tourism and the subject that you are pursuing. If you're not updating yourself, you'll be nothing. Right now, I can be a fossil if I don't update myself. So therefore, update yourself, commitment and the passion that you have can take you to regions and places that you really would like you to go.
Since you have been working in the tourism industry for a long period of time, I think you have met many people with many opinions about term luxury. What is your opinion about term luxury, and do you think money is a relevant factor to indicate that?
It's an interesting question that you asked, because I think luxury is an overly used term right now in the world. But you did ask me luxury tourism and Sri Lanka as a destination for luxury tourism. Is that right? Okay, in that case, first of all, you need to understand in tourism what would make a country a renowned tourism destination. First of all, leave aside luxury, what would it make a basic renowned thing? So it has to be ideally identified as a destination with less or no health hazards or less or no safety hazards, number one. You can't have bombs going on and everything and then call it a general great tourism destination. And number two, it can be easy passage and access to the country. So for you to get the visa, if you really have to work really hard to find your visa to come to Sri Lanka as a tourist, it's not going to be really appealing to people. Say Maldives or Singapore or recently Thailand, Malaysia, they all opened up for tourism with free visas. So what does that mean? They want to welcome the people into Sri Lanka. But making the process cumbersome doesn't really make a general renowned tourism destination, leave aside luxury. So all these things that I'm saying is a must and a very basic for luxury. It's not even considered as luxury. And number three, you need to have various passengers to come to Sri Lanka, like airlines, popular airlines and frequencies of airlines, whatever that you use. I mean, if you can't have one flight a day, at least have many flights. So that is the way that you have the carrying capacity into Sri Lanka. You bring the capacity to Sri Lanka by airlines, because we are an island, right? You can't ride a motorcycle and come from India to Sri Lanka. You have to have these kind of things. So airlines are, again, things that you really need to do that. And then also, I would say for any type of tourist, for you to have an average package for you to be traveling into Sri Lanka. It can be a average tourist spend or a high-end tourist spend. It can be either. But you need to have a product in Sri Lanka for you to come to Sri Lanka. But these are all basic necessities for a renowned destination, tourism destination. Now coming directly to your question as to how do you convert that to a luxury tourism destination? As I said, luxury is overused term, and luxury is a subjective term. What is luxury may not be luxury to you. So luxury is a subjective term. But in the world, it is understood as a common measurement to say luxury is what you want, how you want, when you want, and where you want. If you have a product, now if I want something, if I don't have it at the time that I want it, is it luxury? I want a cup of tea, now you don't have a cup of tea. I want a particular brand, and you don't have that particular brand. Is that luxury? That doesn't become luxury. So what you want, how you want, when you want, and where you want, if I have these things available wherever I am and seamlessly bought, seamlessly accessed, is what a general luxury tourism means and a tourist means. So that is how it works. And it all depends on how much that we have it in Sri Lanka and how much are we ready to give that type of a service in Sri Lanka.
So my next question is based on Sri Lankan tourism. So we know that Sri Lanka has lot to offer, but many travelers still visit the same old places in Sri Lanka. So how can we create new and exciting ways to attract high-end travelers?
I think what you are asking, the first question to the second question, it relates to that.
Yes.
Very quite rightly. So I think I should say something from the first question also. You asked, what is the value or what is the character, the money play in luxury tourism? So luxury tourism, as I said, how you want, what you want, where you want, when you want, can be bought. So that can be bought. These things can be bought if you really want to. But how can you buy it? It has to be a high net worth traveler. So you need to understand the term high net worth travelers. So high net worth travelers means they have their disposable income to such a level that they are able to spend that money to get these facilities for yourself. They are able to get what you want, when you want, if you spend the money. So that is a high net worth traveler. For an example, I had a client, or I had many times clients who is traveling to Sri Lanka wanting a particular wine. And if we can't find it entirely in Sri Lanka, we need to make sure that we get it imported from somewhere else in the world to their room when they check in. But they would pay for it. So it has to be a high net worth traveler. So you do understand the role play, the money plays there. And there had been clients who had wanted a particular perfume. Then they have missed it at home, but now I've come here, but I need that perfume. So we had to get it from somewhere else to that. But so all that can be mainly done by the high net worth travelers. And then the question that you're asking right now is, how can we relate that to Sri Lankan products right now? And why is it not popularly seen? Is that right? Okay. The factor is, as I said, for high net worth travelers, they are poor in one and they are rich in one side. What are they poor in most of the time? Time. They are time poor, money rich. So when they are time poor and money rich, they like all their travels and their experiences to be seamless. They do not want sometimes to be on the road for 5 hours just to get to one monument. Now you say that we have so many things, so many beautiful places to see. Absolutely yes. We have such a lot of 8 UNESCO site, mountains, wildlife, so many festivals, so many authentic experiences in Sri Lanka. But we do understand hard to get from point A to point B. It takes such a long time most of the time. People do not want to be spending their time on the road and going by windy roads and broken roads and things like that. So they would mind paying for some speedy transportation. They would mind paying for tolls. They would mind paying for helicopters if they need. But do we have that infrastructure enough right now? Maybe not now, but I'm sure in the times to come, that the dream is, the idea is for that to be available. And also, if you talk about high net worth travelers, there are particular styles of how they travel if you make a product to them. So you can make a usual 10 to 14 nights tour in Sri Lanka, maybe in 7 nights. But what they do is they spend less time on the road, but they spend more money for experiences and their hotel experiences. So it doesn't matter. Sometimes a usual traveler in Sri Lanka, average traveler can spend 2 weeks and $1,000. And this high net worth traveler will spend $1,000 per day just for two meals and one hotel bed, 1 day. But they are happy to spend that if we have the product to offer them. We have some products, but I can tell you quite frankly, we don't have enough products. Out of our room inventories in Sri Lanka, about 90% are not catered to the high net worth travelers. Only about 10% are catered to the high net worth travelers. So then, now we are wondering, why are they not coming to Sri Lanka? Why are they not going around Sri Lanka? They will, if we have the product. It's not that we don't, but we have very few. And I hope that we will have more in the future.
So looking at the big picture, what are the global trends that Sri Lanka can use to attract high-end travelers?
To attract high-level travelers, there are a few things. One is internationally renowned hotel chains to be in Sri Lanka. If you have internationally renowned, more sought-after hotels in Sri Lanka, the travelers sometimes, most of the time, they follow the destinations where their favorite hotel is now being opened. For an example, if it's like we don't have one and onlys, we don't have Four Seasons, we don't have Ritz-Carltons, we don't have any of those kind of hotels here. But the ones who are traveling around is first of all looking for that. For an example, we have 2 Aman properties in Sri Lanka. So we call it Aman Junkies, which means the people who are traveling in the world who are staying at other Aman properties, now they're looking to where do you have other Aman properties? Oh, there is an Aman property in a little island called Sri Lanka. We should be going to Sri Lanka and exploring. So number one, it can be following the trend of the hotels, internationally renowned high-end boutique hotels going to. And number 2, it can be the trends and the new behavior of the high net worth travelers. So high net worth travelers, the new behavior has 2 folds. Number 1, old money, new money, and no one. There are 3 different things. So old money is you have inherited money from your families and forefathers. And the new money is you have inherited money from like about 2 generations. Now money is what you have now. With the new millennials, they have done new jobs and they earn money quite fast and they have that saving of that money. So do you know the spent money? Recently, Abercrombie and Kent this year, they have done a survey on how do the high net worth travelers travel in Sri Lanka and what kind of high net worth do they have. So minimum is 1 million disposable income. This is what is available in the world. And we have not even tapped or looked into that market as well. And I can say that very well because recently we had Abercrombie and Kent's private jet happening in Sri Lanka. It's a global tour for 3 weeks. So one person's travel is about $150,000. So husband and wife traveling is $300,000. And they finished this tour. They said like another 3 weeks time, they're getting on to one of our other private jets for another 3 weeks. So that's about another $600,000. And then so 1 million disposable income is really not a big magic in the world. But for us, we still have not done a product enough to attract them. It can be private jets, it can be luxury cruises, it can be a thing called multi-generational travel. So multi-generational travel happens mostly with old money. Your grandfathers and grandmothers having the money, and then the new children and the grandchildren not having so much of money. So grandfather and the grandmother is sponsoring for the family to travel together. So that is the multi-generational travel that they call. So these are waves that is in the market, that if we follow those waves for the high-end luxury travelers also, we will be able to attract more of these people to spend their money in our land.
So that means as a country, we have a lot to improve. And also, so when it comes to challenges we face with promoting countries like Sri Lanka and South Asia, what are the challenges you have faced as a company?
Mostly the challenges that I face, maybe 75% as a country and only 25% as a company. 75% as a country is because every year you do know that we have some kind of a dilemma. It can be somebody placing a bomb. It can be a health hazard. It can be some visa issue. It can be some economic crisis. It can be a health crisis. in Asian countries, particularly in Sri Lanka type of a country, we have a lot of things happening every year, one after the other. Either Burma or somewhere else, these kind of things happen. So these are basic things. Some are created by men and some are not created by men. So I guess right now what we have seen is mostly created by men. So therefore, if we have less of those things, we will be able to show the world that these countries like Sri Lanka and other type of countries are quite stable in their economy, in their social economy status, and in their general life, and health and safety, and the public security, all that is established. So when that is established right there, a general, not a high net worth traveler, a general tourist would be attracted in Sri Lanka. So that's the thing. I mean, right now, would you think there are certain countries you think twice to go to? Some other countries that has issued with, I mean, we don't have to be explaining by name, but you think twice. You pick a country that doesn't have a problem, right? So we should actually bring that news out to them and be more constant about our message.
So now we have reached to the final question of our discussion. So we are a team of undergraduates. So this program is done by a team of undergraduates. So we are newcomers to the industry. What kind of message would you like to give to the newcomers of the industry?
Yeah, it's very straightforward, because what you need to remember is, I know exactly how you feel because I was one of you. I don't want to say, maybe 25 years ago, I was one of you. So then I know exactly what you feel. You feel overwhelmed. You feel that you know a lot of things and you feel that I'm ready to go and conquer the world and whatever. So what I would say is, first of all, if you are interested in the tourism industry, this is just understand this and learn this. It is such a vibrant and a beautiful industry to be, the tourism industry. But you need to be remembering one thing also. When you come to the tourism industry, and after about a month, you will understand some part of it. When you understand some part of it, I promise you, either you hate it so much or you will fall in love with over and over again. So you can understand where I have fallen into, right? I'm still falling in love with it for over and over again. So it's such a beautiful industry to be. But you need to have such a committed self to offer to the industry. You can be sacrificing a lot of your personal time, a lot of your family time, a lot of things, first of all, to learn about it. Every day is different. If you read a book and you'll understand so much about the world, tourism is a library. Tourism is a library that you will learn so much every day. Each day you will learn something new. And lastly, what I can say is, if you do come to the industry and if you really have the right commitment, sky is the limit for you to earn. Sky is the limit for you to get your respect, rightfully yours. It should be yours. But it doesn't happen automatically. You have to have the commitment, have the discipline, and update yourself every day to be current with the current trends. That's what I could say. And I really hope that and welcome you to the tourism industry. One day, if I can be of any help to you to help that, and I will do that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think you viewers learned a lot today, because I personally learned a lot. Thank you so much, Ms. Gayangi, for joining us today and sharing your expertise and experience with us. So if you're interested in joining tourism industry, make sure to watch our next episodes and make sure to like and share and also subscribe our channel. We will meet you from our next episode. Until then, take care and stay safe. Thank you.